Hello, everybody, and welcome to your bonus January 2026 messages. This is for all signs. As always, I encourage you to listen to all 12 signs because you do have all 12 signs in your birth chart. So anything that resonates with you, I encourage you to write it down. My name is Devin Dewar. I love sharing these energies with you. And we happen to be on the day of this recording on an angel number day, also in numerology, a net 4, because it is January 11th. So we've got the 111 there plus 2026, which nets to a 1. If you've been with me for a while, thank you so much. You know I've been talking a lot about the powerful numerology that we've shifted into with a brand new cycle. And so I thought it was important for me to come on today with another very powerful energetic number. And the way you calculate that is you add the month plus the day plus the year. So 1 plus 11 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6 equals 22. 22 is a master number in numerology. Whole nother topic, but it is a powerful energy. But that vibrates down to a 4 if you add 2 plus 2, 4. However, when you have a master number like 11, 22, 33, or 44, usually the energy stays in the master energy. So you may be feeling this very powerful. Now, one of the things I talk about a lot with the number 4 is the door. It's an opportunity to walk through to another space of seeing things differently, shifting things. We are all going through powerful transformation. If you would like to join, I am offering a free 44-day transformation journey linked below. Totally free, no strings attached. You will receive an email from me every day based on the numerology, messages from your spiritual team, and you will be able to see how you can be guided through powerful transformation just one day at a time through the numerology. It works anytime you want to. Obviously, right now is a great time to do it because we're at the beginning of a year, but you could do it with a major birthday. If there's just something powerful you want to shift in your life, maybe you don't know what you want to shift in your life, you just know you want to change. Definitely check it out. It's linked below. Also, we're going to go into all 12 signs here, and I do want you to keep in mind that we have an energetic imprint here as we start this year, right? We are going into this brand new one cycle. We've got some really powerful planetary transits happening in 2026. And this month, it starts January 26th. We have Neptune moving into Aries. Next month, we will have Saturn moving into Aries. It will have a massive conjunction on the 20th of February. So we're going to be talking about that as we go. But I am really encouraging you to notice the things around you that are beginning to feel off or feel like they're changing. And a lot of us can't quite put our finger on what it is. Something might feel a little off or something might feel like it's just not moving. I know for me and what I've seen a lot with my clients and people in my world is this energy of wanting to get something done but not being able to. Maybe there's been some kind of manifestation of a physical ailment or illness. Try to combine those words there. Or maybe it's been like they're waiting on information from a boss or from somebody else. And they're like, I really want to get this done, but this is happening. I know a lot of people who've been moving and they're ready to just get started with that next cycle, but they got to wait for the lease to end. All kinds of things that we are all feeling a little bit in limbo. But it's going to really take off powerfully as we get to February and definitely once we get to March. I actually did a really fun live with Chris a few days ago, Chris Reck from Tarot. If you missed it, we talked about the next 3 months. We went through the overall energy. So check that out after this one if you missed it. We also did the 2026 energy readings last month. Those are also all available here to add to this energy to set you up for success. Right now, there's a lot of energy around needing to update or focus on your vision boards and your affirmations. If this is not something you do as a daily practice, I encourage you to pick one affirmation and one visualization to do every morning when you get up. It is really, really powerful. If you want to do more, I invite you to do so. I'm getting ready to update my vision board as well. But even if it's as simple as my all-time favorite pocket affirmation, I am in divine flow, which, by the way, feel free to put that in the comments if that's one of your favorites too, or put your favorite pocket affirmation below. I read every single one of your comments and I really appreciate it. Also love seeing where you tune in from. Thanks you guys so much for being here. But pick at least one that you say in the mornings when you wake up, maybe again before bed, and then also have a visual to go with it, a visual that helps you feel something. All of these energies are going to help you. And since the energy of today, 111, is baked into these messages and it's a master number of 22, go ahead and master that energy of transformation by starting with those tiny little things. It literally takes 11 seconds or less to do. So I encourage you to do that. Let me know where you guys are all tuning in from. And of course, thank you so much for liking and sharing this video. If it resonates, it really helps my channel grow. I'd love to hear about your signs. And if you haven't already, I really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. That helps as well. But thank you guys so much for being here. Just this kind of impromptu, I call them angel bumps. I'll have, a schedule plan for coming on here and doing a live, and then out of nowhere, I'll get the angel bumps. Nope, go do it right now. So that happened today with this 111 energy, very powerful master energy that we're seeing with a 22 net 4. So I'm excited to see what comes up. And like I said, I listen to all 12 signs for myself. I encourage you to do it. If you have any energies that, I'm grabbing a journal to just show you, if you have anything that resonates with you in a different sign than you're used to listening to, please write it down. I always say that giving your future self the gift of hindsight is one of the most powerful tools for deepening your connection with your spiritual team. Who's on your spiritual team? Your guardian angels, your passed away loved ones, ascended masters, ancestors, your higher self. So many amazing, beautiful light beings that are with you, surrounding you, supporting you at all times. So if you get some angel bumps or something pops into your mind, or you feel like a message is for you on a sign that you don't normally listen to, I would definitely write that down, even if you don't fully know what it means, because you can always come back with that powerful gift of hindsight. All right, you guys, are you ready to jump into these all signs readings? Again, these are bonus messages for January. I already did the overall month a couple weeks back. Definitely add these messages to those messages for clarity. And let's get started with the Aries. Aries, what do we have for you guys? I didn't light my candle. I'm going to light my candle. Sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't. Or sometimes I don't put it on camera. But if it is on camera, it needs to have a beautiful flame there. There we go. Hey, everybody there in the chat. Thank you so much for joining me live. If you are watching later, I do read all your comments. So thank you for being here too. All right, now we can get started with the beautiful. Of course, the Aries needs to have the fire element, right? We all do. We all have Aries in our chart, even if you don't have planets there. So let's get started with the first card. The first card we have here is the 9 of Air. Okay, expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecies, sleepless nights. We're going to pull this all together. Our second card we have here is the 4 of Fire. Okay, prosperity, contentment, celebration. This is a good thing. I was talking about how the numerology of today is a 22 net 4. 4 is the door. You need, structure and foundation to have a doorway. And then we have the there's nothing to worry about card. And I love that coming after this card, this 9 of Air, sleepless nights, all those kinds of things. Of course, easier said than done. Oh, you've got nothing to worry about. Doesn't that not help you at all when people say that? Well, what are you worrying about? Quit stress. And yeah, that really helps me not stress, right? But what I want you to think about, Aries, or for any of you that wherever you have Aries in your chart, whatever house that might be in, what's something that's been keeping you up at night, right? What's something that you keep cycling over? If you wake up at night, you catch yourself thinking about it. Even if you're not actively worrying about it, maybe it's something that you just keep going back to in your mind. You may not realize that subconsciously you're adding to that anxiety, adding to that energy by continuing to focus on it. What's that famous expression? What you focus on expands. So what we want to do is focus on the things that we want, the outcome we want. That's why I talked about having at least one visualization you're doing every single morning with an affirmation that helps you keep your mindset focused on what you want, not these worries and these things that are coming to your mind, right? And I'll give you an example. If you don't have any planets in Aries, which I'm one of those, but Aries is my 4th house. So I would say to myself, are there things that I've been worried about when it comes to home and family? Yes, I've been dealing with a sick kid all week. I've been dealing with some other things going on with family, just trying to nurture others and be there for others. And yeah, I am waking up in the middle of the night and going, oh, I needed to handle this. Oh, I should have done that. And it's not helpful to the energy, right? It's not something I can do in the middle of the night. So sitting there worrying about it is not helpful. So what I try to do when I catch myself doing that is I have some tools. Maybe I start doing some visualization, some breath work, some meditation. Maybe I do some affirmations, or I grab a book and I just read something that totally takes my mind off of it, like a fictional novel or something. So these are the things we want to be thinking about when you might even be telling yourself you're not worried about anything, but really there are things that are just kind of in the background. They're playing on a loop and you haven't been paying attention. But the thing is you're going to have this huge celebration coming up. You're going to really begin to see things building, things progressing, especially around projects or passion things that are in your life, things that you're really excited about. You're going to begin to see these things move forward in January. And it is an exciting time. It is a cause to celebrate. So that's what we want to do, is focus on the celebrations, maybe doing one thing every day to celebrate, like celebrating some new habit you've implemented into your life, or celebrating just 10 minutes alone by yourself out in nature and celebrating the beauty of nature. You come up with that is for you, but this nothing to worry about card is reminding you do have a spiritual team surrounding you and helping you, but we have to ask for their help. Remember to ask for loud and clear signs, look for those synchronicities, look for ways to be guided. I will often just say, I don't have a solution to this right now. Please send the right people, the right resources, the right opportunities into my life to help me handle this challenge. And then I let it go. I just kind of allow it to be what it is until I start to feel guided in a certain direction. So that goes for all 12 signs, not just the Aries, but Aries, I think that's really exciting. Let me know what you're celebrating this month. All right, let's move over to the Tauruses here. How's everybody doing there in the chat while I'm popping this up on the screen? Great to see all of you here. Happy 111 day, right? Alrighty, so we are moving into the Taurus energy for your bonus January messages, and we have 3 of Earth, which I forgot to say to the Aries. Thank you for liking and sharing. I always try to bring that little reminder in there. It really helps. 3 of Earth is, the power of creativity, recognition, very high quality work. This is awesome, Taurus. I know you guys have been working so hard. I know you've been working so hard to bring in more things into your community, more things into your environment, more things into your security with your family. A lot of you have had a lot of projects you've been really working hard on. And, this is something that people are seeing in you, like the value you bring to the team, to the group, to the situation that they're involved in. They're really seeing how solid you are. And it really is a positive thing to focus on, because you have had so much transformation with Uranus being in your sign for so long, right? It'll finally be moving out of there, but later in 2026, but you're going through those last little passes of Uranus in Taurus, and you're having to really get clear on the things that are definitely not going back to the way they were, right? And it's almost like I feel for a lot of you, you're having to say that out loud. Like, I do not receive that type of energy anymore. But let's keep going, see what else we have for you. We have the Queen of Earth card here. There we go. Now it's not focusing. Gracious, practical, capable. Well, there you go. 2 Earth signs for my lovely Tauruses. Of course, you have the Queen of Earth energy here. I love that. And again, it's that idea of being very practical, really being to the point. But the thing is you have everything that other people need too. So you're trying to be practical about how do I share my resources and make sure I'm prepared, but also maintain stuff for the future, saving today, planning for the future, but living for today, and then saving for the rainy days, but enjoying life, right? And then your daily guidance card, before we pull it all together, is a trustworthy guidance card. What's really fun about this particular message I'm getting for the Taurus is I feel like you've stepped into your power in a bigger way than ever, especially moving into this 1 year. So it's like, everybody else is looking at you this way. Like, instead of it being guidance for you, it's a reminder people are seeing you as strong and a team player. People are seeing you as very practical and grounded, and people are looking to you for guidance. They're looking to you to learn from you. You're setting an example for others, and you're doing an amazing job of saying, I'm not settling. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm talking about maybe there's something you need to actually say out loud that I don't receive that outcome, right? We do want to focus on what we want. But there are definitely times where a thought will pop through my mind, like, what if this happens? I will literally put my hand up and say, I do not receive that. I do not receive that, you know? And you can make the arguments. I'm trained in emotional freedom technique tapping, and one of the arguments is the brain doesn't hear no, but we are trying to really set some energetic boundaries. So I think there's always an exception to the rule. If there's anything that you are, you know, really focused on right now and somebody makes a comment like, well, what if this happens? I do not receive that, right? If you want to put that in the comments below, feel free to. And definitely thank you guys so much for liking and sharing this video if these messages resonate. And let's move on to the Geminis. All right, Geminis, we were just talking about how later this year we've got Uranus moving into your sign, so you're kind of enjoying these last little bits of it in Taurus, right? But of course, that means it's in your 12th house from whatever perspective you have, and that means you're probably ready for that to change too. Let's see what we have here for your first card. We have the Release card. Okay, so yeah, it's the end of a phase, situation, spiritual transformation, time to move on. This would be considered the Death card in tarot, but it's not a bad thing. We're all going through this transformation. We have the King of Earth. All right, your neighbor sign had the Queen of Earth. You have the King of Earth here. Prosperous, generous, successful. You guys are really moving ahead with your dreams, and you've been doing a lot of planning behind the scenes. And I was getting this message for you guys a lot with the reading I did with Chris Reck from Minnow Pond Tarot last week. So go check that out, because here's the thing. You guys have been doing so much behind the scenes. Some of it has all been mentally, like mental planning that you've been doing. And now you're about to really share that with the world. And you've had to let go of any kind of fear of vulnerability. You've had to release these old dynamics. It's like somebody was trying to keep you in a lane and you're like, that's not my lane anymore. Like, don't put me in that lane. I can change lanes whenever I want. Sorry if it upsets you, but this is what we're doing. But you're doing it in a practical way. This is not a fly-by-night thing. This is going to seem like a surprise to a lot of people around you, but in your mind, you're like, no, this was my plan all along. I'm just finally showing you how confident I am. And the King of Earth is very confident, very generous, and very successful with their endeavors. So again, this is not something that you're just like running out and deciding to do impulsively. This is something you've been thinking about for a long time. You've been making slow moves in that direction, but a lot of people around you didn't realize you were doing that. And so it may come as a little bit of a surprise. Now, your daily guidance card here is the Innocence card. Yes. Okay. Well, so that just validates everything I was getting for the Geminis there. I do feel like there are going to be people that maybe don't receive the changes you're making in the best way. And you might start to feel a little guilty that you've surprised them, or they're making it feel as though you're letting them down. This is your reminder. Hey, you have to do what's right for you, right? We're doing it in a compassionate way, but you are innocent in the need to follow your heart, right? And that's the big message I'm getting for these Geminis is a lot of you have had to let go of relationships, jobs, locations, dynamics in communities, roles that you were in, and you're saying, I'm no longer that person. That no longer resonates with me. I need to resign from this volunteer position. I need to let go of this group project. You're moving on, and you are doing it so that you can feel solid in your resources and where you're headed. And when other people say, hey, you can't go do that, you can't just let us down. No, this was coming a long time. This was not something that was impulsive. So I want you to remember that as you might get some reactions to it. I feel like a lot of you are not going to necessarily see people's true reaction for a while. So it might be something where, you know, you send out a text or an email, or you let somebody know something and you don't really see their true feelings about it until we have all these, you know, Saturn and Neptune and Aries and some other things happening. So just remember this message now. You're doing the right thing by following your heart. All right, Geminis, let me know what you guys are doing. Thank you so much for liking and sharing this video. It really helps me. And I read every one of your comments. I love them so much. Thank you. All right, Cancers. What do we have going on for you guys for your bonus messages for January? You have the Star card. Wow. Did you guys get this with our reading with Chris Reck? I feel like maybe you did. I don't know. I'm going to go back and look, but it's resonating with me as a Cancer sun sign. Happy times make make positive, optimistic, long-term plans on the right path. So yeah, I mean, this does feel, I know this isn't a literal interpretation of the star card, but I do feel like this is a card of patience a little bit. Like you're on the right path, but you got to keep going. Keep following your plan. The long-term plans thing is again, like we said with Geminis, this is not something that's happening overnight, Cancers. All right, your next card is the Six of Earth. Charity, generosity, and windfall. So this is a card of bringing balance to your time and resources. Activating that giving and receiving cycle is super important here. Now, Cancers, we do have to remember not to overgive too, right? That's a big message. It's like, yes, nurturing others, but allowing others to nurture you. Or if you are offering some type of energy to something, make sure there is reciprocity there, right? And your daily guidance card is the perfect timing card. I love that. Yeah, so I think you're going to realize there is the right time to take action on something in January, but you do need to make those long-term plans. Again, like we had with Geminis, this is not an impulsive energy. So spend January doing some planning, maybe setting some dates for things that you want to get done, but also making sure you have all the resources in place, not just running out and doing it, just like we had for Geminis. And, honestly, like even Tauruses, they've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes as well too. And so people were like, whoa, Taurus, where'd you come from? Look at all this stuff you're offering or you're doing, or I want to know how you did that. It's kind of one of those things where it took a lot of time to get to that position. And I feel like for Cancers, that's another thing too, is just spending that more time alone, working on the things that you want and doing a lot of planning, a lot of quiet time, I think is going to be really necessary. You are headed in the right direction. You are on the right path. There will be the right time to move forward with something that you want to do, whether it's a relationship, whether it's regarding your health and fitness, whether it's travel or something with your career and finances. If you're retired, maybe it's something around a project, a legacy. There will be the right time. Your goal for January is to balance your time and energy and make the plans so that when it is go time, you've got everything in place and you're ready to go. So I love that message for the Cancers. Thank you guys so much for liking and sharing. All right, what do we have for the lovely Leos for your bonus January messages? Your first card is the High Priestess. Archangel Haniel here. Listen to your intuition. Have patience. Consider carefully what you want before acting. Another card of patience. We've been getting a lot of that so far for this bonus messages here, and I do think that is the case. Definitely taking our time with things, but listening to our intuition. The second card you have is the Hermit card. Yeah, so again, introspection, self-discovery, mentorship. Yeah, you may need to consult with your higher self here in January, Leos. I feel like things are going to really start moving forward for you too, because with Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries, trining your sign, all that fiery energy is going to give you a powerful push. Later this year, Jupiter moves into your sign as well. So get ready by doing a lot of introspection now. That way, when things really begin to move forward, you're ready to go. Really asking yourself those deeper questions. Where do I see myself a year from now, 5 years from now, 12 years? Well, I don't know why I said 12. I was going to say 10. What is it about 12? But there is something about 12 there, maybe because of Jupiter going into your sign. You definitely need to be listening to your intuition and doing that self-discovery now. That way, when all this pushing energy comes through that's going to help you, you're ready. You know what you want. You're not taking the first thing, opportunity, or person who comes through the door. You're really clear on what you want. And your your daily guidance, notice the signs. You are going to be guided by your higher self, by your spiritual team. So Leos, this is your chance to take a break from having to be there for everybody. You're so entertaining. You're so loving. You really shine when you want to share your heart, but it's okay to say, you know what? I don't have time for that. I need to spend a little more time alone. I need to spend more time planning. And if somebody is asking you to say yes to something and you're not quite sure, ask for more time. Say, hey, I need to sleep on this. I really need to think about it. And that's what you're getting here. You're getting a lot of guidance around listening to your intuition, not listening to external factors. And I believe that was a big message for Leos that Chris Reck and I got last week just a few days ago when we did the next 3 months video. Go listen to that too, Leo, because it was a lot around, not looking for external validation. You've got to go to your higher self for that validation, and then ask for signs. Like I was saying, for everybody, loud and clear signs. This can come in synchronistic events, angel numbers, different repetitive series of numbers, animals outside your window, animals inside your dreams. Do that reflection wherever you have Leo in your chart. This is going to be really valuable. All right, you guys. Thank you guys so much for liking and sharing. Leave me a comment or an emoji. I'd love to hear how you're doing. All right, moving on to Virgos. What do we have for the Virgos for January bonus messages? We have the Queen of Earth card here. Thoughtful, creative, warm, and sensitive. Wow, I love that. And it was the Tauruses that got that too. So your Earth sister or brother there, right? I love that. Queen of Earth. And then we have the Justice card. You guys have been getting this card a lot for me lately. I think you're just kind of over some things, right? Like you had all those eclipses in your sign last year. It's like, man, you're so over something. That's what I'm feeling for a lot of you. But let's pull it all together here in a minute. Yeah, we have Daydream. So for Virgos, I think the thing that you have to keep in mind here is there is something that you need to invest in because you do have the resources. You are knowledgeable enough. You are ready to take something to the next level, but we can't just get stuck in daydreaming about it. I do find daydreaming is a very powerful tool. As I was talking about at the beginning of this message, please have at least one visualization and one affirmation you're doing every single day. But the thing is, Virgos, is I think you're realizing like, it's time for me to move forward with something I really want to do and just stop spending time or energy on something or money on something that it just doesn't resonate with me anymore because you're ready to go to the next level. And what you've been forced to do is daydream about it a lot because you've had all these other things pulling at you. And what I see happening is that a lot of you have kind of, maybe for some of you, those eclipses forced a release, forced an ending to something. But either way, it was a powerful transformation wherever you have Virgo in your chart and you're sitting here going, okay, instead of just talking about it and daydreaming about it, I'm actually going to invest that time and energy. I have the knowledge, I have the resources. I can do this in a way that is practical and safe, that doesn't leave me vulnerable, that doesn't get my finances out of balance, get my energy or my health out of balance. You know what to do. Virgos, you're always the practical ones. You're always the ones that puts the planning in. So go ahead and take that extra time to figure out anything else that you could let go of, but also make sure you're not just daydreaming all day long about something. You're actually taking logical steps to get to where you want to go. Okay. And I really see some really big things coming in for Virgos this year. So even just one tiny thing that you're doing every day, spending 5 minutes researching a tool you need or watching a video tutorial, whatever that is for you, Virgos, let me know what you guys are all working on. I love it. I love seeing what you're all doing. And I really appreciate you liking and sharing the video, commenting below. I love it so much. Thank you guys. Hey, Libras, what do we get for your bonus messages for January? You have the Knight of Water, emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, contemplative, interesting, falling in love, wedding proposals, the need to have more fun, and an invitation to a social event. Okay, where are you going today, Libras? What's up? No, but maybe you do have some things coming up, and maybe there's some emotions around it. Maybe you were, planning to have a dry January, and then you got this irresistible, invitation to a wine tasting. Who knows? And you're a little conflicted. I don't want to miss out. I don't want to have FOMO, but also I was trying to keep these commitments to myself. So I don't know. Let's see where we're going with this, Libras. Next, you have the Knight of Air. Intellectual, determined, and motivated. Wow. So you have two Knight cards here, very youthful energies. This is, tends to be that card of maybe somebody saying things in a tactless way or just blurting things out or just being too quick to say something. It's also an energy of new ideas too, though. So you might find that by going for the things your heart gets excited about, could also bring in some new ideas. So if you get excited about an invitation to something, I would sit with that and ask, why is this exciting me? Especially if you have any reservations about going due to some self-imposed restrictions. Sometimes we put restrictions on ourselves because we are actually somehow think we're protecting ourselves when really it's a way of avoiding something, right? Now, of course, that's not necessarily the case in what I was saying earlier, but you might find that you're telling yourself no to something because you think that's what's best for you when really it's just protecting you from doing something bigger, going bigger with something. Your third card is the Law of Attraction card here, so I do love that energy for this as well. I really do think that what they're bringing in here for you, your spiritual team, is that idea that, let's say you do get an invitation to something and you're like, yeah, but if I go, then I'm gonna have to stay up late. And what if I have to talk to that one neighbor who drives me crazy? And you're like thinking of it from that perspective, like I'm better off just not going. Instead of going, well, wait a minute, I did get excited about the invitation initially, and maybe there's somebody new I'm going to meet there, or maybe there's going to be a new idea that we come up as a group to do something together, like a collaboration, or maybe you're just going to have a lot of fun and realize I haven't been letting myself have enough fun. I've been being too hard on myself. So ask yourself that, Libras, are you being too hard on yourself about something? Have you placed some type of self-imposed restriction on yourself because you feel like it's your brain is saying this is the right thing to do, but is your heart really on board with that, right? And you know what that is for you, but let me know in the comments how you guys are doing. Thank you so much for liking and sharing the video. As always, I really appreciate it. Even your little emojis, I love seeing your emojis or, what your 3 big signs are, but do listen to all 12 signs. I find it helps me so much if that resonates with you. All right, moving on to the Scorpios. Scorpios, for your bonus January messages, you have the Knight of Earth. We've been getting a lot of these energies lately. Lots of Earth energy. Loyal, dedicated, honorable, kind. Time to buckle down and get things done. I do think you've been getting this energy for me actually the last few weeks, guys. It's really time to get focused, hone in on something right now for you guys. The second card we have is the Page of Air. Again, we were talking about this with the previous sign. Truthful, analytical, and outspoken. So yeah, I think again, this feels like you, Scorpios, like there's something that you need to be truthful about with someone around you. You need to speak up. I feel like that's kind of why it's coming with this King of Earth card here, Scorpios, is that maybe it's time for you to really focus on sharing these things you've been working so hard on. Really focus on the way you communicate and be willing to, be outspoken about it. That's what I feel like. I feel like this is supporting you doing that. And let's see what your daily guidance card is so we can pull it all together. Your daily guidance card is the Cupid card. That's a fun card to get, Scorpios. Yeah, but I don't read literally, so you may not be looking for romance in your life, but it's kind of like falling in love with a new idea and a new way of communicating. So what I'm seeing for some of you is maybe you've been really working hard on a project and you've been doing it behind the scenes, and now it's time to get out there and start sharing about that project, telling people around you. Maybe you're joining a group of people, like a writer's group or some kind of creative group where you can share ideas. And I think you're going to really fall in love with this new way of communicating. Maybe it's as simple as you've always really enjoyed writing and now you're starting to do more speaking with a podcast or a YouTube channel. Or maybe you've always done things alone and you are choosing to collaborate more and you're really in love with these new groups of people you're working with. But be willing to speak up, because one of the ways you're going to find those groups of people to work with or find those people who want to see the things you're doing is by being outspoken about it. Of course, in a loving and compassionate way, like I know you always are. But just remember, you're ready to get these things done. We just don't want to keep putting them off because we're not ready to try it a different way. I feel like it's a little bit of the similar energy I got from Libras, where it's like, do you think you're protecting yourself or are you actually avoiding something, right? So maybe it's time for you to really speak up about something, Scorpios. So let me know how you're doing. Let me know what you're working on. I love it. Thank you guys so much for liking and sharing this video. Moving on to the Sagittarius. Hey, Sagittarius, what do we have for your bonus January messages? First off, we have the Page of Earth. So much Earth energy for all of us, all signs, right, you guys? Scholarly, dependable, patient, successful. I don't mind the Earth energy personally. We do have all these planets in Capricorn at the moment too. Good news about financial matters. Who doesn't want that? Waiting to do something more challenging, a new area of study. Yeah, I mean, Sagittarius, you guys have been making major changes all for the whole last year. I feel like you have. So let's pull it all together to make a little more clarification here for you. I will, of course, do bonus messages that add clarity to all 12 signs at the end, you guys. Oh, you have the 9 of Air. I think that was Aries that had that too. Negativity, worry, and sleeplessness. Yeah, again, just asking yourself, is there anything that is keeping you up at night? Is there anything that pops into your head that you weren't really paying attention to, but it keeps coming back? Let's go ahead and address that issue. Probably you don't have enough information around it. Maybe you feel like you're kind of getting the phrase hung out to dry. Like I feel like you got left for you to deal with. Does that make sense? Like it's like you were going to be doing something as a group and everybody bailed on you, or you had an opinion about something and the people you shared it with, nobody agreed with you. And you were kind of like, oh, wow, I didn't realize I was going to have no support there, but you had to do what you felt was right. Let's see what your daily guidance card is, and then we'll pull it all together. The release and surrender. Yeah, release and surrender. Coming after this 9 of Air card, coming after these new things that you're doing, I do think that, there's been some things you've really wanted to let go of regarding friendships, regarding work projects, regarding home. And it's like you're so over the constant worry, the constant having to deal with everything. And at some point, there's a little bit of a surrender that needs to happen, Sagittarius, to the way people react and respond to you. You're going to have to make that decision to go into a new area with something. Maybe you're changing jobs. Maybe you're, changing what you're focused on in your life. And you're not gonna miss it once you just go ahead and do it, because it's something that even if you're not consciously worrying about, it's playing in the background, right? Like those programs that are always playing in the background of our computer that we don't even know are running, right? So have a little bit of a surrender to the outcome of this thing just by following your heart. As long as you're following your heart and you're protecting your energy, I think you're going to find that ultimately, it's going to work out the way it's meant to work out, and everybody's on their own journey. So if people are not really responding to the choices you're making, but they're right for you, keep going, because that's what this card is saying here. And it's a little bit of a surrender. Like, it is what it is. This is how they're going to receive it. I can't change how they feel, but I know how I feel, and I know what I have to do to follow my heart. All right, Sagittarius, let me know what you guys are doing. Thank you so much for liking and sharing the video, or leaving me an emoji or comment below. I love all the fun emojis you guys come up with. It's so cute to read. All right, Capricorns, what are we getting for you guys for your January bonus messages? Well, we have the Knight of Fire. That's a fun energy to get. Passionate, adventurous, self-assured, restless, something you're really ready to move forward with. Now, sometimes this can be an impulsive energy, rushing into things. That's not something I normally see my Capricorns do, but let's keep going and see if we can get a little clarification. Maybe you are ready to just jumpstart something, and we'll see what guidance they have for you around that. Oh, we have the release card. That's like the third or fourth time we've gotten this card. Endings and transformation, freedom. Yeah, you're releasing something in January. Maybe the need to control something. Maybe you're releasing a project that you've kind of had going in the back burner, and you're ready to finally put it out there in a bigger way. And also, there is a level of wanting things to happen at a different pace and they're happening. I'm feeling Capricorns, like you're wanting things to move faster, but I'm feeling this guidance around like surrender to the timeline. It will happen when it's meant to happen at the right time. All right, next card we have here is the Listen card. The Listen card. So we are spending more time listening to our spiritual team, to our higher self, to the signs that are coming through. It's like they say, when we say our prayers, we're asking for guidance, we're asking for help and support. when we meditate, we're listening. We're listening for that guidance. We're listening for those answers. So a lot more time with that could be powerful. Maybe you're adding 5 minutes to your meditation every day, or you're doing something different with your spiritual team that gives you a little more connection to your higher self. Have you ever tried something new with a spiritual tool that maybe you've never done before? Like I mentioned before, I'm trained in tapping. If you've never tried tapping before, EFT, emotional freedom technique, go find a video. There's tons of videos. I even have some on my channel that will guide you through that. Breath work, spending some time learning about something that really helps you connect on a higher level, studying things, esoteric knowledge, all these things can help you. Also remember that Capricorns, you're going into a new level of working with your intuition, and a lot of these modalities are going to find you. It might have been something that you weren't actually seeking out, or you didn't think you were seeking out is what it feels like, but it's kind of in your face. I feel that way too with this card in particular as well, that maybe something is finding you quickly in a bold way, and you're like, wow, like I didn't see that coming, but I guess this opportunity is here. Let's go. Let's listen to this guidance that's coming through for me. So let me know what you're thinking about doing or learning, or let me know if any big things come rushing in for you this month, January, which by the way, Capricorns in January, which I was going to say, happy birthday. I hope you're having an amazing birthday season so far. And let's move into the next sign. Thank you guys so much for liking and sharing the video. I really appreciate it. And Aquarius, here we go. Hello, Aquas. What do we have for your bonus messages? Some of you have birthdays coming up in January, right? So what's the first card we have for Aquarius? We have the 3 of Air. Great sadness, take time to heal, the need to forgive yourself or others. Yes, I've seen this card come up for a lot of signs over the last few months. So you're not the only one that has had some kind of recent disappointment or things that have come up that you thought you'd healed, but they're coming back for that one final pass of, hey, remember how much this hurt, or remember how this used to bother you. Does it still bother you? That's what I'm seeing coming up for this 3 of Air card. So it's something in the past. It's not something that's coming in for you. But let's pull your next card up here, Aquas, and see what you've got. You've got the 7 of Fire. Challenge, determination, resistance. Yeah, and you know what I actually feel like you're doing, Aquas, in January? I think you're walking away. I think something that you used to stand your ground on, that you used to say, I am not going to let this defeat me, or I'm not going to let this person talk to me, or I'm not going to let that happen again. You're kind of like, you know what? I'm not even going to engage. I'm just walking away, and I'm going to go do my own thing. This is just not worth my time, not worth the battle. If they're going to sit here and challenge me on this, then I'm going to walk away. And this could be walking away from something that you weren't expecting to walk away from in this year, right? Like it was something you did plan to do in 2026. So it may come as a little bit of a surprise to you what you're walking away from. I feel like you'll have a lot of clarity on that by the end of January. So just start paying attention right now, Aquas, to the things that are bringing up stuff from the past, even if it's different people and situations, right? Have you ever had a situation where a person at work, or your neighbor, or somebody in your life reminds you of a time when you were a kid and somebody in class did something to you? Totally different people, different circumstances, different ages, but it reminds you there's something there that still needs to be released. And maybe, back then you would have let that really hurt your feelings. You would have stood up for yourself, or you would have you would have hidden away from that person and not allowed yourself to be seen. Now you're saying, I'm not going to be in that energy anymore. I'm walking away. So again, you're not walking away from the things that are important to you, but there is something that I feel like is ending for you guys that you didn't expect to have ending. Like you were planning to do it this year, and now you're saying, actually, I'm not, because this isn't worth my time and energy. Let's see what your daily guidance card is. Oh, the Ocean card, another card of release, cleansing, detoxifying. Yeah, you know what's going to happen? I think it's going to be really obvious by the end of the month. So just start paying attention now, because I think we're still at the end of this full moon cycle that we just had, the waning moon. We'll have a new moon on the 18th of January. So there's more to be revealed, okay? And I think for you, Aquas, it's going to be really around the energies that make you feel drained, the energies that keep you up at night, the energies that are frustrating. And this goes for all of us, wherever you have Aquarius in your sign. I think you really need to ask yourself, what's coming up for me right now? Because we're still we don't immediately go into that one energy in 2026. It's a gradual process as a collective as we're all ending things. And then like Chris Reck and I talked about on our channel, on our duo readings, where we talk about the new moon in Aquarius, February 17th, I think, or is it the 18th? I'm forgot off the top. You tell me in the comments, you guys, but it's the Chinese New Year, the new moon, the first eclipse of 2026. That's probably around the time we're going to really feel the one energy, believe it or not. And of course, we're moving into the fire horse energy, which is another card of freedom. So you're going to be freeing yourself of anything, any people, any situations that are draining. You're going to be cleansing. So if you don't know what that is right now that you're going to be walking away from, then come back later and let me know in the comments what it ends up being next month or later this year. But again, I feel this powerfully for the Aquas or wherever you have Aquarius in your sign. All right. Thank you guys so much for liking and sharing the video. I really appreciate it. Leave me a comment or an emoji below. Hey Pisces, what do we have for your bonus January messages? We have the 9 of Fire. That's a good card. Don't give up. It says, protect what you've created, have courage, and believe in yourself. Yeah, keep going. You guys have been working hard to shift things. You've had Jupiter trining your sign. You've got some really powerful leadership energy coming through. And Pisces, we're just really, we're really looking to you guys going forward for the way you naturally rely on your intuitive ability. So anything that you've been working on behind the scenes or things that you've been working to shift, keep going. Don't give up on those things, even when it seems like things are not moving quickly. Your next card is the 5 of Water. So this could be a little bit what it's talking about, disappointment, regret, or forgiveness. It seems like maybe there were some things that just didn't go the way you'd hoped. They didn't turn out the way you wanted them to, and it might give you that feeling of giving up, especially if it's regarding like new people. Maybe it's you were interested in somebody romantically, or you were interested in a new friend or a new group of people, and things just didn't really go the way you thought on that first date or that first gathering. Don't give up on what you were seeking with that. It could be that it just needs to be a different environment, or it needs to be different circumstances, or it could be it's different people, but you're still seeking that energy. So what were you seeking, Pisces? And if it didn't go the way you wanted, don't give up on that. It's still available to you. Let's see what your daily guidance card is, and we'll bring it together. There we are, joy, right? One of my favorite taglines that I say, pursue joy daily. So there's something you were seeking. Don't give up on the joy you want. Just because a past relationship didn't work out, a past job, a past creative project, maybe something in your home didn't turn out, a project or something like that, keep going. Pursue that joy. You will bring in these things you want by pursuing that joy in your daily life. And this really does go for all 12 signs. I really want to reiterate that we all should definitely be taking time for joy every single day. The tiniest little things can bring us joy, but we want to pursue that. We have to make a point of it. We don't put it off to the end, or we don't put it off to the point that it keeps getting kicked down the road. We got to make sure we're planning things every day that bring us joy so that we can be in that energy and immerse ourselves into it. So I really feel like for the Pisces, the main message you're getting for your bonus January messages, of course, add this to the other message we got for you, is something you really wanted may not have gone the way you thought, but keep going, because you're going to find that joy. As long as you protect how far you've come. I've never, to this day, please let me know if any of you have a better saying. I don't like this saying, but the saying, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I have yet to hear anybody say that they know one that's better than that, but it's the idea that you've created something really beautiful and powerful. And if you're frustrated, we're not just getting rid of everything. We're not completely going back to just wiping off your desk, throwing away everything you've worked on, right? You're starting with what you have, with what you love, with what brings you joy, and then you're continuing. So let me know what that is for you guys. What are you guys working on, Pisces? Have you been working on your relationships? Have you been working on your health and fitness? Have you been working on a creative project or a collaboration? I'd love to hear from you. We're going to get to your bonus messages now. Thank you guys so much for liking and sharing my videos. I really appreciate it. It helps my channel grow. I love it when you hit that subscribe button or leave me a comment. I read every single one. All right, so we're going to go into your bonus messages now. Just a quick reminder, linked below is your free gift from me, your 44-day transformation journey. This is for any time in your life you want something to transform. But it's also based on the numerology of the transformation. So that's why it's 44 days, because we go to a master number there. Oh, heard that car go by, grumbling by right at the time I said that. But check it out. It's totally free. And every day in your inbox for 44 days, you will receive a message based on the numerology for your transformation journey and messages from your spiritual team. This is your guardian angels, passed away loved ones, ascended masters, your higher self. And that way you can be guided one day at a time through the numerology and through the guidance through this transformation. So maybe you have a big birthday coming up and you want to do it before your birthday, or you want to do it on your birthday, or maybe you just want to say, hey, it's the beginning of a new year. Let's do it now. So I invite you to check that out. It's totally free, linked below. And yeah, those of you, I know a lot of you have joined me on that. I'd love to hear how it's going for you. What are you working to transform? But let's get to your bonus messages here and see what's coming up. So these messages are meant to clarify the messages we just got. So anything that you're kind of like, I think this was it, or maybe you got angel bumps and you don't know why, or maybe it was during a sign you don't normally listen to. We're going to get some clarity here. All right, so coming up in the present energy, we have the 3 of Air card again. I mean, I told Chris Reck this last week when we did our duo reading for the next 3 months. I'm constantly getting this card. But it's around the fact that we've gone through so much heartache over the last 9 years that it's time to focus on what we learned and create something out of that, right? So this is a card of reminding yourself that it wasn't a waste of time and energy. It may have been painful, it may have created loss, but there was something in that energy that you can use now to move into a more joyful existence, a daily life of feeling that romance, okay? So let's keep going. We're going to see what else they're going to bring up for all of you. Our next card is the 7 of Air. 7 of Air. Okay, awareness, caution, and consequences. Now, I know a lot of readers will say this is a card of lying, cheating, and stealing. Maybe you're lying to yourself about something or somebody else in your world is. That is not the energy I am getting for this card. The energy I'm getting this card is looking to see where you can benefit from the consequences of this heartache, right? When you can take the time to be aware of, all right, this happened, but now I can use that to my advantage. Now that I have that knowledge, now that I know what I don't want anymore, then you can really benefit and you can be very tactical with your next move. So anything that didn't really work out the way you wanted, there was a lesson in that, and that can be used to make your next move and do it in a smart, strategic way. So we're going to be implementing a lot of strategy going forward. This is a card of thinking through things. Again, this is that energy of, look, this person is doing something while the other person is asleep, so they can avoid the battle. So I do think we're walking away from a lot of conversations that are like, you know, these people who get in these big fights online. I don't understand it myself personally, but I'm just naturally non-confrontational. Engaging in the comments like that is such a drain of your energy. And I understand why people do it. They feel like they have to stand up for their beliefs. And believe me, I support you in that as well. But also, how do you feel at the end of that? Even if you won, even if the other person is like, touche, and they sign off, you know, it still was this battle. And I think what we're all realizing is some of these conversations are not worth it. I can go for what I want and not worry about what that person has to say about it. So let's see what's coming up in the future card here. All right, in the future card, we have the 10 of Fire. All right, so overwork, stress, and imbalance. And what I think they're letting us know is, yeah, if we aren't more tactical, if we aren't more thoughtful and strategic, we are going to get overworked. All this fire energy we have coming in, Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries, all these, the Jupiter into Leo later this year, Uranus into Gemini, we're going to have to pace ourselves. We're going to have to be tactical about where do we put our energy in. And that was a big thing. I did a video on this last week if you missed it. What is worth your energy, right? Because like I said, at the time I'm recording this video, we have the 111 number here. That's why I felt angel bumps to come on. We're also in a master number of a 22 net 4 today. I want you to really think carefully about the things that are not worth your time, money, and effort, right? And make sure you're clearing those things away. As we move into this new moon that we have on the 18th, that's when you can start implementing new plans, new things to do, okay? But definitely keep in mind that we don't want to get into this place where we are overburdened. So you still have time to be more thoughtful about what you're doing. If there is a new project you want to launch this year, which will be a good year for it, just remember you want to do it thoughtfully and tactically. Like the easiest example I can give is back when I started YouTube in 2020 is when I started this channel. I had channels since 2007, but I never did anything with them. But all the advice was like post as much as you can, at least once a day. I just knew with having young kids and lots of other responsibilities beside this, that just wasn't practical. Like that was not a sustainable amount of uploading. So I had to get more strategic on how can I do this in a way that is sustainable. And I feel like that's what the message for all of us is. Something you're wanting to work on, something you're wanting to create. There is a better way to do it where it's sustainable. You're going to have to be thoughtful about that, or else you're going to end up on that hamster wheel and you're going to get exhausted. So what's the first thing that came to mind with something that you're overdoing? Like it's starting to become more and more of a time commitment, more and more of a financial commitment, more and more of a keeping you up at night. I got to do this. I got to do that. That's something we might want to think about reframing so that when we have all these energies shift, especially in March with the spring equinox, we are not in that place. All right. So let's get some actions to take. I love it when they give us like, this is only if we don't do anything about this. We're going to get some actions, right? We're going to do something about this energy. So the first card I'm getting for everybody here is the, I promise you, I did not know this card was coming up. We have the Tower card, and this Tower card says transformation. So as I said, you're invited to my 44-day transformation journey. Maybe this is your sign to do it. It's totally free, no strings attached, but it is designed for transformation. So check out the free link below. But look, if you want to shift from being totally overworked or totally in a position where you're burnt out, something has to change now, right? And you may not know what that is. That's the beauty of doing the 44-day transformation journey. Like I said, it will reveal itself to you what needs to change. It's totally free. It's my gift to you because I love working with all of you. Let's see what we have next for a card of action. Yep, we have the Moon card. Intuition, illusion, and revelation. I feel like if you take the time to really think about what needs to change, things will be revealed to you. Like I said, this is not something that's super obvious. With this Seven of Air card, I do think that there are things that still have not revealed themselves. If this is resonating with you and you don't have anything in Aquarius, go back and listen to the Aquarius sign I just did. All of us are probably not going to do something we thought we were going to do in 2026. And we are going to do things that we never even dreamed we would do because we get an opportunity. It's exciting. And it's not something that you thought was going to be fun or something you'd want to do, but you've got to be prepared for that. And you're not going to have the time and energy in your schedule if you're overworked, right? So we are looking for opportunities for new things, but we're doing it in a strategic way. And we're being really clear on the things we don't want to take with us into this next 9-year cycle. Well, thank you guys so much for liking and sharing this video, for commenting below. I read every single video. Let me know how you're all doing, where you're tuning in from, and I will see you next time. Remember, everybody, pursue joy daily.